I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News. My name is Lori Swan. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you're in the live chat, we do ask that you keep it family friendly. There will be moderators in there to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forth to us by the platform you're utilizing today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when we go live. All right, guys, sorry I am late. I've not been feeling very well today, which is, I don't know. I've been feeling really good. I've been home for like a month now, and this is the first day that I've just not been feeling very well. So anyways, hello, everybody. So this is going to be a real quick live. Just wanted to go over a couple of things. I don't know how many of you guys are still over on TikTok. But there is a channel over there, and I don't know what it is. I will get the name of it, and I will put it in the description here. But they've been talking a lot about Yellowstone, and even though I know that Yellowstone is definitely an issue, so much of an issue that the government, the GS, has shut off a lot of the earthquake sensors in that area, and they've done it for the last number of years. This is not a new thing, but I don't know. I don't think that is something that we need to worry about, like in like the immediate future, like this channel over there on TikTok has been talking about. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff, and the thing that comes to mind when I'm scrolling through things, which I don't really have a lot of time to do it. It's mostly at night when we're watching TV after dinner. We watch a couple of hours of TV together, and it's our time just to relax. And so I do a little bit of scrolling. But I've been seeing a lot of, for lack of a better word, a lot of fear porn out there. A lot of people just doing something that shouldn't be done, which is date setting. I hate date setting. I really do. I don't like to do it myself. I don't like to see other people do it because it definitely it hurts your it hurts your reliability, because chances are things, unless you have a direct responsibility for it, things don't always go as planned. And what I mean by that is, like, if I say dinner's going to be served at 5 o'clock tomorrow night, it's up to me to make that happen. And pretty much, it would happen. But when you've got people coming and saying this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and then give a certain date, I think that's very detrimental to their integrity. So it's something we try not to do. And I like to call people out on that too, because the Bible's clear. It tells us that if a if somebody says that, I've got a word from God, I had a dream, God showed me, what's some other ones, I have a message from God for you, and then they go on and they say things, and when those things don't come to fruition, the Bible's clear on what we're to do. We're to mark and avoid them. And he tells us that, if these things come to pass or don't come to pass, that they haven't got the word from me. God's not a liar. When he says something's going to happen, it's going to happen. So, chances are they're not getting this information from a reliable source. But I'm seeing a lot of dates, and there's two dates that I'm going to show you guys. The first one, like I said, I don't have the first one because it's I'll have to find the channel. But it's over on TikTok. And he's saying that Yellowstone is going to go off on July 5th. Well, that's a heck of a birthday for me. My birthday's the next day. That would be horrible, wouldn't it? Um, but I not really seeing so much of an uptick, that I would be like really, really, really concerned about it. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, but I wouldn't go out on a limb to give it a date. I would say maybe in the next 100 years, you know, but I wouldn't give it a date. But he's saying July 5th. So I told him, I said, well, what are you going to do when we come back on July 6th? And, because we're going to roast you, you know, it's going to happen. That's, you can, if anything of the two events of us roasting him or of Yellowstone, I would definitely put roasting him on your calendar, because that will happen. So, but the other thing that I'm seeing, and I named this show, the trauma-based mind control and the depopulation agenda, because starting in 2020, we definitely saw an uptick in them trying to eliminate a lot of people. We saw it in 2020 with the thing that we're not supposed to talk about, and they did a darn good job, of in instigating protocols, to make sure that they took care of the vulnerable part of the population at that time. And I don't think it went off as planned, because a lot of us didn't fall for it. I think they were expecting a lot more people to fall in line and to, obey. They haven't met us, apparently. So, but yeah, so this is something that, yes, it's coming back. That's definitely, this is something that, um, let's do this. This is called, and let me get out of here real quick. Pull it up. Okay, this is something, that a lot of people are making videos about. So we're not the only ones that are talking about this, but I think the more people that talk about it, the better, because we saw something like this after the fact. Something like this took place in 2019. I'm not gonna say any specific things, but you guys all know the event to blah blah, that we're talking about. We're coming back. Dr. Joy is going to be on with us in a few days. We're gonna launch our new season, and I do not want us to get it taken down before that happens. So I'm going to be real careful on what I say today. Okay, so but we saw something like this happen in 2018 before the main event started taking place. It rolled out, and it might be the same thing that's going on. Um, did we ever think that this was going to disappear on 2020, or that was going to go away? I mean, I think we would all be very naive if we thought for a moment that they would take and spend so much time and energy and money into preparing this for us and then have it completely disappear. They're banking on it um, mutating and going into something different. Plus the fact that, I mean, there's other things that are happening. Um, they're pushing the climate agenda again. They're pushing, the global warming, and the perfect cover for a catastrophic or a ELE event, an extinction level event, would be to say that a virus or something had melted in one of the poles or in something like that, and it's been released. That would be like the perfect cover that they could do. But until they decide that, they're going to definitely give 100%, we're going to have to deal with these little events that are taking place. And they do their job. They get rid of a lot of people. They scare a lot of people. And that's why I put the title of trauma-based mind control, because there's nothing better to get a person to do what you want other than, to do that whole trauma base. So this is called the National Blueprint for Biodefense. It's immediate action needed to defend against a biological threat. This was done April of last year, April of 2024, but they're saying that this is going to happen, or it's going to be rolled out on July 4th of this year. Now, I've done a lot of things, or I've had a lot of things come across my YouTube, not my personal YouTube, because I watch a lot of different things over there. And I've had Nostradamus. Okay, guys, don't come at me. Okay, but I do. I watch a lot of things, and one of the things that there was a video over there talking about how 2025 is a pivotal event. That there was a quatrain that they were having trouble. Uh, they were having trouble. What's it called? Translating it, and but they have now since translated it, and they've deciphered it. That's word for it. They deciphered it, and they're saying it's pointing to this year 2025. So there's a lot of things going on um, that, whether it's man-made or whether it's natural, who knows? But it's a National Blueprint for Defense. It's a report by a bipartisan commission on biodefense, again, April 2024. I'm not going to go into this. This is 177 pages, but I find it interesting. I've done a little bit of reading on, and I'll put the link for you guys to look at this. But I wanted to we're going to look at the scenario. That's what we're going to do. But it says the biological threat is real and growing. Intelligence, attribution and deterrence, science and technology, preparedness, detection and surveillance, response, recovery, and mitigation, and then the conclusion. And hold on a second. David's in the other room. Why is he texting me? Okay. So let's take a look at the scenario. It says the following hypothetical opening remark by the chair of a congressional joint inquiry provide context for this report by portraying a biological attack sufficient to cause the catastrophic consequences warranted by the Bipartisan Commission on Biodefense. The scenario describes how a biological agent could target humans and animals, how it could emerge, some of the key interagency capabilities required to address the agent and its impacts, and the consequences of failure. Joint inquiry into administration and congressional actions before and during the bioterrorist attacks of July 4th, 2025. the U.S. House of Representatives Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, and U.S. Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. So the chairman says, I call the first hearing of the Joint Inquiry to order. 9 weeks ago, some nation or terrorist group, we still do not know who, attacked the nation's capital and other U.S. cities with biological weapons as we celebrated Independence Day. The infectious agent they used killed at least 280,000 Americans and infected at least 400,000 throughout the country in a single day. I'll read that again for you guys. The infectious agent they used killed at least 280,000 Americans and infected at least 400,000 throughout the country in a single day. In addition to the 200,000 dead and the 800,000 sickened animals. These numbers will increase as the disease spreads. Many of our own colleagues and staff here in Congress fell ill and died. Coordinated attacks in allied nations in the days that followed killed tens of thousands more. We are now hearing that the terrorists conducted smaller scale attacks in American cities and localities prior to July 4th incidents to test our defense and gauge our responses. These smaller scale attacks went largely unnoticed. Laboratory tests confirm, and I'm not going to say it, you can see it right here, virus caused the disease, but we still do not know what methods our adversaries use to infect humans and spread the disease among livestock in rural communities. Animals and people were sick for more than a month before we realized what had happened. While the virus is in the same family as other common human and animal viruses, most American veterinarians and physicians had never seen this particular virus before, which delayed recognition. The virus, which in nature does not spread easily among people, was genetically modified to increase its ability to spread from animal to animal, animal to person, person to person, while still retaining a mortality rate of over 40%. That page alone, if you know what you're reading, should scare the hell out of you. Because something that potent and that fast moving. What I find interesting is that we're coming up on a month before it, and we're seeing so many distractions that if this were true, which is just a scenario, but again, we saw the scenario in 2019. But if the scenario were to be accurate, I could see why it would go undetected because of all the civil unrest that's going on right now because of ICE. And, you know, ICE is definitely cracking down on a lot of the cities. I finally, after a month being home, finally got my paperwork in order to drive in Chicago here. It's different driving in Phoenix than it is in Chicago. Chicago Ubers are more of a taxi service, so you need chauffeur's license, which it's actually quite a bit of money. I didn't have to pay for it, Uber did, but it takes a while to get it. But I finally got that, and I went out. I don't even know what day it was. Thursday last week. Thursday maybe. I think it might have been Thursday. And just to kind of get a feel of it, to see, you know, how it worked here. And I ran into 4 or 5 vehicles just in the 3 hours that I was out almost 4 hours. I ran into, I think I counted 4 ICE, the green and white vehicles. So they are here in Chicago. And with everything going on with California. Can I just scoot off topic for just a second, and I'll get back to this, but um, so a lot of people, and you guys are messaging me, and I'm sorry if I'm not getting back to you in a timely manner, but I promise that that will change soon. Um, Posse comitatus. A lot of people are throwing that at me. What is it? What? Why isn't it being adhered to? Why is Trump doing this? How can Trump do this? Let me fill you in on how he can do this. Posse comitatus dictates that the active military cannot be used against American people on American soil. It's clear. That's the truth. But the thing of it is he's not going after American people. And if you have any question on what an American citizen is, go read the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment is clear on what defines a U.S. citizen. He is not going after U.S. citizens. He's going after criminals. The people that have come into this country illegally are criminals. You can call them whatever you want. You can call them illegal, or you can call them um, whatever you want to call them. The bottom line is, at the end of the day, they're still criminals. Okay. Don't come at me. Oh, your relative. No, my relatives came through Ellis Island. Thank you very much. They had papers. Um, so posse comitatus does not apply here. Has nothing to do with it. Trump is well within his rights because essentially our country is being invaded. So it is the military's responsibility to take care of that, and so he is. So I just wanted to clear that up because my thing keeps dinging like at least once or twice a day. People are messaging me now. I woke up like I think 5 messages, and Debbie messaged me this morning about it. So I just wanted to put that out there. But anyway, so it would not surprise me in the least if this was real, the scenario was real, that they would go unnoticed because of all the drama that's taking place. And again, the shell game. Look over here while we do over here. Typical. They really had success in 2020. I mean, I wouldn't call the entire operation. I wouldn't call it a bust. I mean, they accomplished a lot. They accomplished unaliving a lot of people. They accomplished messing with people's mental health. They accomplished pretty much secluding people away from other people. They did it to the children. They did it to employers. People working from home. I know when I was working for Consumer Cellular, they never went back in the office. Um, I was having when I first started there, I was having problems with my internet, and I only lived literally like 5 minutes away from the big office in North Phoenix. And this building is, think of a huge Amazon warehouse. That's how big this building is. With probably, I think maybe there was 20 of us in the building, 30 of us. I mean, it was just, I mean, nothing. You would just walk in there. It was like, I mean, I was there from, I had to be at work at 8:30 to 3:30, and if I saw 4 people, it was a lot. And that was one of them was the security guard on my way in and on my way out. But yeah, so and they did accomplish a lot. They accomplished calibrating whatever it is they needed calibrated at that time, you know, and they succeeded in the biggest thing of all, and that is altering human DNA. Bottom line. Um, I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to say that the next round, if this is it or not, I don't know. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say if the next round is probably going to take out the people that got uh, the thing, because the people that I know, um, a lot of the people that I know in Phoenix aren't awake per se, and a lot of them did take it. Um, and when I got out there this time, um, I had already lost 3 of my friends, and all 3 of them I found out over the course of a few months. I got to talk with Melissa's daughter. Um, I got to talk with Brad's son, and there was one more that I got to talk with, his wife, and yeah, they had all taken it. And so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the next round is going to probably take a lot of those people, unfortunately. So, um, where's the other one? And I'm not watching chat, guys. I apologize. What was the other? Science and technology. Let's do the biological one here. Detect. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Hang on. What's this one? That's not the one I wanted. Okay. What page? Page 19. We'll do it this way. Okay. Recommendation and action items from National Blueprint of Biodefense Leadership. Okay. Leadership, preparedness. Okay, preparedness, stockpile, supply distribution and dispensings, CDC authorization, public health, security, workforce, school, biodefense, state, local, tribal, territorial, biological emergency preparedness. There was one thing that I saw. A friend of mine messaged me last night, and he thought it was quite interesting that they have it establish the Apollo program. They love their little g gods, don't they? So in the science and technology, they have develop a that thing, candidates for prototype pathogens, develop therapeutic drugs in advance, develop flexible and scalable manufacturing of pharmaceuticals, develop needle-free methods of drug and that administration, um, identify and increase ubiquitous sequencing, develop minimally and non-invasive infection detection. Um, it looks like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it looks like everything that went wrong in 2020 they definitely learned from it. Um, because all of these subtopics here are things that they had problems with in 2020, and it looks like they have definitely they've upped their game, so to say. Um, it's funny. Incorporate lessons learned from the last one. Yeah. Strengthen stockpile supply and distribution. Authorize the CDC. Increase public health, security, workforce. Establish a stratified biodefense hospital system. Strengthen biodefense of warfighters. Produce clinical infection control guidelines. Yeah, it looks like everything that went wrong last time, um, they have they've addressed. Yeah, this is one I wanted. Says our nation faces biological threats that can result in millions of fatalities and trillions of dollars in economic losses. The federal government acknowledges the seriousness of this threat and funds a wide spectrum of activities across many departments and agencies to address it. These efforts demonstrate recognition of the problem and the distributed attempt to find solutions. Still, successive administrations and Congresses do not give the biological threats the same level of attention as they do other threats. While the United States now has a national strategic plan for biodefense and an estimate of federal expenditures to achieve that plan's goals and objectives, there is still no centralized position in the executive branch sufficiently empowered to lead all of the biodefense for America. So Dr. F didn't do a good job last time? Wow. Hmm. Didn't see that one coming. The biological threats, including biological warfare and bioterrorism, are not new. The United States engaged in a biological warfare program from 1943 to 1969, not only to develop biological weapons for offensive use, but also to develop programs and countermeasures to help defend against the use of biological weapons by the former Soviet Union and other hostile nations. The United States eventually decided that it would be too difficult to control and operate in areas contaminated with disease agents and ceased its programs to produce biological weapons in 1976. After that, our country shifted to a defense only program, believing that other nations also ceased their programs. The United States then reduced the priority placed on addressing biological weapons. Yeah, because, of course, we put our weapons down. Of course, they're going to put theirs down because, mutually assured destruction and all. Jeez. Anyways, all right. Interesting. All right. So let me just go back. I was just checking chat real quick. Okay. Mhm. Yeah. So I don't know if a lot of I don't know if people remember this, but in 2001, right after 9/11, do you remember when the anthrax was starting, when it was going through the mail, and um, that was now what we know about 9/11 and how it wasn't what they told us. It was definitely one of the sheer definition of a false flag. Um, it makes you wonder, did they have something to do with the anthrax after it, which I always thought they did because it was just too clean. You to get anthrax out of a lab, you would have to go through so many levels of security that it would have to have been a inside job. Following the anthrax attack of 2001, which killed 5 Americans and sickened 17, several devastating biological events occurred leading up to that 2020 event. And then they go and they list it, the ones that and they even list Zika. Wow. Okay. Says we must not forget that seasonal influenza kills 400,000 people worldwide on average annually. This means that in addition to the many lives lost from the more notable events, the world has lost around 7.6 million lives due to influenza alone in the 18 years between the anthrax attacks and the emergence of that in 2020. It says the Department of Defense, in its 2023 Countering Weapons of Mass Destruction strategy, stated that over the next decade, the United States must remain prepared for acute and persistent biological threats from China, Iran, North Korea, Russia, and violent extremist organizations. They raised significant concerns about China, Russia, and North Korea not complying with the BWC, despite our recent and continuing experience with that thing in 2020. Many still do not appreciate the extent, severity, and reality of a biological threat. It remains unclear as to whether American leaders have the political will to prevent these threats from becoming real. What an interesting choice of words. To basically say that it remains unclear as to whether our leaders want to prevent these threats from becoming real. Whether they have the will to prevent. Kind of an interesting choice of words there. The Department of State assesses that China, Iran, North Korea, and Russia continue to engage in biological weapons specific or dual use research activities and fail to comply with the BWC. New state programs can still access caches of incompletely destroyed or buried biological weapons materials from old state programs and then smuggle them to other regions for use by today's militaries and terrorist organizations. Weapons that once consumed a great deal of time and resources to make now take far less, and what the United States could accomplish more than 40 years ago, others can accomplish today. International crises like the fall of Afghanistan, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and the attacks on Israel have also increased the potential threat of biological weapons use. Former CIA officials talk about the pursuit of biological weapons by other nation states and terrorist organizations that seek to kill 60 to 70% of targeted populations. Before the Georgia Guidestones were destroyed, what did it say? It said to get the population down to a manageable 500 million. In order to do that, they would have to kill roughly 90% of the population. And if they can just sit back and let terrorist organizations take care of 60 to 70%, their job's just about almost done. So, yeah, I'm going to put this in the description below for you guys to read. It's a pretty interesting read, I have to say that. And I will find that link to that account over on TikTok. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'll have to go through my I'll have to go through my videos that I watched last night because I think that's when I found it. And I will put that in there for you guys. I have a couple other things that I'm probably going to come back in the next couple of days to talk to you guys about. But I don't, if not, what day is it? June 16th. So June 16th is a week from last night. So next Monday night, we are going to be launching our new season of Global Watchman News, and we are going to have Dr. Joy Pugh on with us for our first show. And I do have a lot of other things planned for the upcoming shows. Big John will be back with us. We're glad to have him back. I'm going to try to get a hold of a couple more people. Hero, I'm going to see if I can get a hold of him. Ooh, I put too much cayenne pepper in that. I'm drinking, it's a, I can't even think of what it's called. It's like loaded with greens. It's like a little tablet that you put in water. But I also have cayenne, a tincture made with cayenne to help my circulation because I think I have another blood clot coming in my leg, so I'm trying to ward it off. And I threw some in that. Oh, it was hot, spicy hot. So yeah, I will probably be back sometime this week. Maybe I can get with Ernie. I don't know. Ernie, are you still here? Are you still listening? Let's see if Ernie's still here. If we can get Ernie, maybe tomorrow night or something. My schedule's open. So it'll be up to him. We're working around his schedule. Fire cider. No, it's not, but I do want to try that. Now this so I don't know if you Trisha, she's married to Scott. We've done a couple of shows with him. He's a pastor, deliverance pastor, and she sent me this. She makes it, and she warned me that it was that it was hot, and she says it tastes horrible. She said, but she puts hers in a cup of water, and I did like a half a. She's got a dropper in there. I did it like a half one. It's hot. It felt it all the way down. Ernie, maybe when I get off here, you can. I think I gave you my new number. Give me a call or something, and we can. I kind of wanted to get a couple of things out of the way that I've got like sitting here on my desk in the next few days, so we can do a couple lives before we launch next Monday, if that's okay. Kind of get our feet wet again. It's been a while. Been almost a year. So I will message you with my new number. So, all right, everybody, that's it for today. I'm going to get off here, and I hope you guys have a rest. Your night is good, and just I trauma-based mind control, fear porn. It's all to do what? To take us off of our game, to get us preoccupied, to get us distracted, to get our emotions up, our blood pressure up, so that they can feed off of that energy. We keep telling you guys, there's if it's a spirit of fear, it doesn't come from God. And we tell you that all the time. Because he doesn't give us the spirit of fear. And that's why when we end our show, I always tell everybody, you guys have a great night. We'll see you next time. And remember, eyes open, no fear.